How's it going, guys? This is your boy Astrum Sensei and welcome to this brand new beginner series for Unreal Engine 4. I've already done an introduction video for this series, so if you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. But as a summary, we're just gonna learn Unreal Engine 4 from scratch together. I'm gonna show you the basics and then we're gonna be making a little game, which is gonna be like a small interactive walking simulator. But yeah, in the first part, we're gonna learn the user interface of Unreal Engine, the tools, and just the basics to get us started with working on our game. But before we do get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want to help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers. It's really important for me and I really would appreciate it if you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, make sure you like the video because that would also really support me. Also, if you want to support my channel further or receive early access to other tutorial series and stuff, make sure you check out my Patreon page. The link will be in the description. So here I am waiting for Unreal Engine 4.25 to finally open, but it's taking too long because it's actually the first time I'm opening this version of Unreal Engine. I was stuck on Unreal Engine 4.24, I think, because it's the one I've been building my RPG in and my other prototypes. But yeah, for now we're gonna do the tutorial series on 4.25 because it's the latest version. So yeah, now that Unreal Engine 4.25 is open, we're gonna get started by creating a brand new project. And as you can see, all my other projects are on 4.24. So we're gonna go to choose the new project category for games. You can choose other things, but I'm gonna be focused on game development. So yeah, this is for games. Make sure you select it and press next. Now over here you can choose a template that you can, when you open the project, the game starts with. So over here we have the first person template. You'll have a gun in front of your face and the controls of a first person shooter, and the gun can shoot projectiles on these white boxes that can move them. There's the flying template. How come I've never noticed this before? Yeah, it's just a flying game. I'm pretty sure it's very basic also, not very usable. Puzzle template, rolling template, third person template, top down, twin stick shooter, handheld AR, side scroller, 2D side scroller, vehicle, VR, advanced vehicle. So for this project, we're gonna go with the third person template. We're gonna be making a third person walking simulator where you can just interact with the world. I've said that like 2 times already. But yeah, just choose it and press next. This is the easiest one to customize for me. So yeah, I'm gonna teach you of it. You could choose blank for your game, but it's gonna be very scary as a game where you can just you just have nothing. So yeah, we're gonna go with the third person. We're gonna choose Blueprint since we're gonna use blueprints instead of C++. Actually, I'm gonna start learning C++ like more seriously. I might start making tutorials for it too. If you guys want to see that, make sure you tell me. This is the quality of the graphics. I'm gonna keep it maximum quality. Ray tracing disabled. Please don't enable it for your first project. Also, it's gonna take a lot of time to open the project when this one is enabled. So yeah, I just prefer it disabled. Desktop/console or mobile/tablet. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with desktop. And I'm gonna choose with starter content because there's gonna be some materials and meshes that we might use for the first few videos for level design. We could just alternatively import stuff from the marketplace, but yeah, for the first few videos I'm just gonna keep the starter content. Now, what am I gonna call the game? Actually, I do have a game idea that I wanna do by the end of this series. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it, what am I gonna call it? Maybe I should just call it beginner tutorial game for now. Yeah, we can always change the name later. So I just called it beginner tutorial game and create the project. And there you go. The Unreal editor is open finally. So yeah, you might be a little lost if this is your first time opening it. So we're gonna start from the middle. Over here is our viewport. This is the perspective view, and what this is it's basically your game as you can see it from a free roaming, like you can fly around and stuff in it. And you know, this is the one I use most. Like you can change the perspective to be top. Wait, let's not use wireframe for now. Yeah, you can use top, bottom view, left view, right view, front view, back view. But you know, as an artist, like a lot of people, I've seen a lot of Unreal Engine tutorials, they use these other views. They can be useful if you're trying to make something very accurate, but you know, as an artist myself, I don't think I like using them. I really prefer the perspective view. So yeah, when you get started, you might press the left or right mouse, and as you can see, you can just look around while pressing the right mouse button. So yeah, it just, if you hold it and move your mouse, you can look around like a first-person shooter. And if you press the left mouse button, you can move in this vertical way, but this isn't my preferred method to use it. Okay, so I added the buttons that I'm pressing over here, so whenever I press something, you can see what I've pressed. So now that you can see everything I do, take a look. So like this, we look around. Like this, we move vertically. And you can also, for example, if you want to move to this character, if you aim on it and move with the left mouse, you're gonna walk just vertically, you're not gonna walk towards it. So to walk towards it, you can either use the scrolling mouse wheel to scroll to it, and this is also useless for me, I don't like using it. Or you can alternatively, while holding the right mouse button and looking around, you can use the W, S, A, and D to just move around like you're in a first-person shooter. I think this is the best way to navigate for me, but I know that a lot of people use things differently, so I would really advise you to, you know, experiment and try things on your own to, you know, learn the best methods that are suited for you. But yeah, this is how it goes for me. And as you can see over here, I've used this one. There are the other views, for example, top. I'm just gonna keep it to perspective. There's also a cinematic viewport. I think this one's for the cutscenes. Let's just save it for later. There's also the view mode, which is lit, unlit. So this is without any of the dynamic lighting in the engine, without any lighting at all. And this is the wireframe. It shows you the polygons and the stuff like that. This is the detail lighting. Lighting only. Reflections. Wow, this is beautiful. Player collision. And yeah, like this, you can just see the collision. So this is the collision of our main character. Like if anything touches this, it's not gonna go through. Visibility collision. Optimization, view modes, which are also more complicated stuff. Level of detail. Also, let's save that for later. Yeah, I think this is it for these. I'm not going to teach you the rest for yet. So yeah, choose lit. and keep it like this. There's also this button which you can disable, like for example the BSB. It disables the, oh, okay. Yeah, for example, if you turn on collision, it shows you the things that can collide with each other. So basically the character and the stairs over here. The purple thing means that the purple lines or polygons means that the red around the character can't go through this. So I'm gonna turn it off again. And you know, you can disable other things over here like the landscape, the fog, the anti-aliasing, the skeletal meshes, for example. Yeah, we made the character disappear because he's a skeletal mesh. Static meshes, everything else. So yeah, this is, I don't find it useful, but yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of developers use it. And yeah, there are a lot of things here you can hide and show. I'm not gonna go into detail about them. And next, what we have over here is these three, which are the move, rotate, and scale. For example, we have this box over here. Or, you know, let's add a new one. That one, let's not mess with it. So yeah, we have this cube over here. And with the move tool on, you can move it like this, or like this. They are the three axes over here, the Z, X, and Y. And you know, this is how you make most of your game, or at least this is how I do it. It's really a lot like The Sims, making a house in The Sims. I know this is like an overstatement, but it's the best metaphor, I think, for, you know, beginners. So yeah, it's like making your house in The Sims, but much more complicated. At least that's how it is for me. So this is the rotation tool. This is the move tool. You can move stuff around. Over here is rotating stuff. You know, you can rotate them to whatever degree you want, or angle, whatever. And yeah, this is like, it could make a lot of unique stuff like this. For example, if you have several cubes and you don't want them all to look the same, you can just rotate them and they would look slightly better. And next we have the scale tool, which, as you have guessed, scales your stuff. So, for example, we can make this box bigger or smaller. Or we can make it bigger in one of the axes over here. And you know, that would make different shapes of the stuff. Or if you have several item models you want to change over here and you don't want to go back to your modeling software, you can just do it over here. So yeah, this is our box. As you can see, it wasn't like this before, it was just like this. So yeah, we changed it. And next, what this one does is, for example, if you rotate your box and turn this one on or off, yeah, the coordinates of the move tool or whatever one of these three will be different based on the rotation. For example, like this, it remains the way it is. Even if you rotate it so many times, it just remains the same. But like this, as you can see, the whole thing changes every time you rotate. So it follows the rotation of your item or static mesh to be like more like it. This tool is very useful for level design, so I would really advise not underestimating it. Now this is the snapping options. For example, snapping is quite useful because it makes your game like, it makes making your game like almost like Lego. If you have the modular static meshes. So for example, if you duplicate your box, it can just snap, and you know, they would be like one huge box without any overlap. As you can see, there's no overlap. But if you disable snapping and you move it like this, it will be very smooth and you won't know when to stop. So there will be slightly overlap. And you know, this might not be a problem for the white meshes, but if you have a texture on them, it's gonna look very ugly. So let's try adding a texture from the starter content. You can just not follow this, just watch. I haven't taught you the... As you can see, they're overlapping. They look very ugly. As you can see. Also, even if you use the same texture, it will still look very ugly. But this one was made with snapping, so if you put the same texture, it will look like it's all just one huge block instead of like this. So yeah, this tool is very useful. Keep it on. Unless you want something to be very accurate, that way you can either change the snapping size to 1, which also snaps but makes it much smaller snapping, so you might still get into some overlap, unless you're really careful. You can also change it to 5 so that it's not as big as 10 of a snap, but still big enough. Or you can change it to one of the huger values, which can, you know, snap very big. Or one of the super huge values, which kinda doesn't copy. Yeah, it copies way over there. So yeah, you can mess with the snapping values on your own and figure it out. Next is snapping for rotation. For example, if you put on the rotate tool, you can switch between these using W, E, and R. I think it's super useful to switch like that and super fast. So yeah, make sure you use them. I'm gonna switch to the rotate mode using the E, and as you can see, when we rotate, it also has snapping for rotation. If you disable it, it will be smooth as hell, but you might still be needing rotation if you want to move it to an accurate straight line. Yeah, you can also change the rotation values. For example, if we put it to 30, it will be very blocky. Also, the same goes for scale snapping. So this one makes it huge in a blocky type of way, like in a certain type of size. But as you go upper over here or smaller, I don't know, it becomes smoother. Or if you choose 10, it will be very, you know, fast snapping. So yeah, I'm gonna disable snapping for scale and show you how smooth it can be without it. Now this one is also for scaling, I think. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, this one snaps objects to a scaling grid. So yeah, we can just ignore this for now. Now this one is the camera speed. What it does is it changes how fast you move in your level when you're walking around. For example, if we change it to 2, we can move around more slowly. And for example, tweak something very small and close. For example, the character. No, not the character, that's a bad example. For example, the alignment of these two, you can just get very close with the lower speed and adjust them. Or you can make it super fast if you have a big open world game and, you know, move around very, very fast. It's all up to you. So yeah, why did I save? I don't know. Okay. And the last one, actually the last two I didn't cover, which is this arrow and this box. So what this box does is if you press it, you now have 4 viewports, which are back, right, top, and perspective. You can change them to be whatever you want, even a second perspective. I know a lot of people use these. I personally don't. You can also disable wireframe and make it look normal. But yeah, I don't use these for my games. As I've said, I don't like being too technical. But yeah, they're a nice option to have, so make sure you check them out. There's also this arrow, which gives you viewport options. For example, real time. This one, if you turn it off, you can disable, for example, if you have moving particle effects, that will pause them. So yeah, that's what this one does. There's also show stats. I think this one, for example, shows you that you have some stuff to compile, like shaders to compile. Keep it on. Show frames per second, show toolbar, field of view, view for plane, screen percentage, all of this self-explanatory. Game view, which game view, if you enable it, it will remove all of the stuff that you don't see in the game. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it off for now. Immersive mode, which makes it large, like full screen. Create camera here, high resolution screenshot, layouts, and advanced settings. So yeah, that's it for the viewport. What we're gonna check out next is the content browser. So over here is our content browser. What this is it's basically all of the assets inside your game. You can just browse them from here and put them in your game whenever you want them. So when you open the project first, you're gonna have a few folders, and you also should press this to make them come out here. I think it's better like this. And for example, we're gonna use the content browser to open the third person BP. There we have our character. Yeah, I'm not gonna put him in there. There's also the maps. In the third person, there is meshes. In the starter content, yeah, this is where I wanted to go originally. And yeah, for example, over here in the starter content, there's a folder called props. Over here are some stuff. So I'm gonna quickly select all of these that I've placed and delete them. And you know, you can select stuff by pressing Ctrl and left clicking on anything. And I like to hit delete to delete things. I know that like most people do it. And for example, there's this chair in our content browser. You can just drag it and drop it into your game. And there you go. You have a chair for your main character. And you know, I like rotating it. And yeah, that's it. Now we're gonna add a bench also. A bush. A ceiling lamp. Yeah, we're not gonna add that. You know, you get the idea. You just drag stuff and put them in there. And they become part of your level. So if you hit play and check it out, you can see that this stuff are in your game. They have no collision, but that's okay for now, only this one. So yeah, this is what the content browser is. There are also ways to import stuff into your game. For example, if you press import, it will open your folders so that you can import characters or just assets or animations, anything you want to use. You can just add it with the import button, or alternatively, you can just hold your item, like drag it and drop it into the content browser. Also, in the content browser, you can create some blueprints or levels, materials, particles, substances, anything. You can do anything. You know, anything that you're gonna use in your game, it's gonna be over here, or you're gonna create it over here. Next, we're gonna look at the place actors bar, or whatever this is. And this one, basically, things that you can use often are placed here so that you can just drag them and drop them into your game. For example, the box, cone, stuff like this, stairs, Or, actually these stuff are useless for me. They're good for blocking out your level, not more than that. Yeah, there are also, you know, height fog, which can make your game foggy. And you can also add cameras, lights, for example, point lights, spotlights, and directional lights, which are the sunlights. But yeah, we're gonna cover that later. So yeah, this is it for this part, the place actors. Next we have the world outliner, which shows you everything that you've added to your level. For example, you have the rock that we've added, the other rock, the character, the point light, the box, everything. So I'm gonna delete the box and this stuff, but you know what, let's just keep them, they look good. Yeah, that's what this is over here. And for example, you have folders which contain, like, you can create folders that can contain every category of stuff. For example, in the example project, there are the render effects in one folder. You can disable viewing them. Or we have the walkway, which we can also disable, the arena, the lighting, and here are the stuff we added ourselves beside the character and the text. So yeah, that's what this is. You can select a couple of stuff and group them or attach them to something, or you can move them to a folder or anything. Yeah, this is quite useful. You're definitely gonna use it very often. And over here we have the details panel. Now this one, with every single item you select, it will have a lot of options in the details panel. For example, our main character over here, when we select them, we have these locations, rotation, scale, mobility. For example, over here in the scale, you can make them bigger in one aspect. Looks ugly. Let's try it out. Oh my god. This looks like a nightmare. And yeah, that's what this is. You can also change a lot of the editable variables inside your character over here. So yeah, this is, you're gonna be using this a lot when optimizing your games. And there are other things, for example, the spotlight. When you go to the details panel with it selected, it will have its own options. So you have intensity, radius, inner cone angle, outer cone angle. Yeah, that's just an example. And yeah, you can just experiment with this a lot. And the only thing I didn't cover yet in the user interface is this bar over here. You have the save, which saves your progress, source control, modes. Oh, I forgot to go to the modes thing. Wait, why aren't they here? Yeah, modes. Yeah, we're gonna leave that for later. Content, which opens the content browser. You know, with the modes, you can just put them all, tick them all, and it will add them over here. Oh, you can't? Oh, they changed it. Okay. Okay, you can, for example, go to landscape mode and create a brand new landscape. We're gonna cover that in its own episode. So yeah, let's just stay in the select mode. You have the content browser, the marketplace, the settings, which are the world settings, project settings, plugins. The world settings, yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about them yet, but we're gonna do an episode for each of them. Like the project settings, it's very important. You also have the engine scalability settings, which can change your graphics to look very ugly, but it will save performance. You know, maybe I shouldn't have messed with it. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. I've ruined things because it's gonna take a lot of time to compile. But luckily we are already done with the viewport for this video. So yeah, let's just learn everything here and end the video. Material quality, which can change your quality of the materials. And everything else here doesn't really matter yet, so we're just gonna ignore it, or you can just check it out on your own. It's all self-explanatory. Next we have the blueprints button, which can create a new empty blueprint class, for example like this, which can create a character, an actor, a player controller. All of these stuff, I'm gonna explain them in the next video. And then we also can check out what else we have here. Convert selection to blueprint class, open blueprint class. For example, we have the character here. Open level blueprint, which are basically blueprints you hold in your level. I'm gonna explain them in another episode. And we have the game mode. You can change it. Yeah, this is just not very beginner friendly for the first video. Next we have the build button. I'm definitely gonna ignore it. This can build lighting. For example, over here it says lighting needs to be rebuilt. Yeah, this one can do it. You have the option to build lighting only, which will take much less time, but yeah, you shouldn't worry about this yet. Next you have the play button, which can preview your game. You can preview it as in the viewport, or you can choose the new editor window and it will open the game in a brand new editor window, so that it's better like this. I like it like this. You also have the standalone game, which takes more time, and the simulate, which enables your game, but you're not playing it, you're just looking at it to see a simulation of what's happening. And you can press the pause button to actually start playing it. The other things, we're not gonna cover them yet. And this one, the launch button, we're also gonna ignore it for now. And yeah, this is it for the video. In this video we learned the user interface, the controls, and what each part of the engine does. I know it's very basic, but it's gonna get complicated later, so don't you worry about that if you already know the part of this stuff. So yeah, I really hope this was useful for you. If it was, make sure you like the video and subscribe to help me reach 10,000 subscribers, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care and bye.